I'm excited to be here with an extraordinary individual who exemplifies the essence of resilience and perseverance, Dean Karnazes. Known globally for his awe-inspiring feats in ultramarathon running, Dean has not only pushed the boundaries of physical endurance, but has also shaped a mindset that is invaluable. We invited Dean to talk about what it means to maintain an endurance mindset in both athletics and in business. Dean's experiences from running 50 marathons in 50 states in 50 consecutive days to winning the Badwater Ultramarathon, often dubbed the world's toughest foot race, provide a unique lens through which we'll discuss the importance of adapting to changing environments, strategies for maintaining focus over the long period, and how to stay motivated during intense pressure. Welcome, Dean. Dean, it's only appropriate you're joining us today from Greece, which is the home of the marathon. Now, just this last month, you were there to light up the Olympic torch, which is so great to know. But before we get started with the conversation, I just have one question. How many miles did you run today?
Today I ran 13.1 miles, which is the equivalent of a half marathon. So, yeah.
Dean, here at Uniphore, I like to say we are also running a marathon. While speed and agility are truly important to us, but having a long-term mindset, building a company for the ages, that mindset is a big part of our success. Now, just like ultra marathons and even in business, having this long-term mindset is truly important. I wanted to ask you, how do you keep yourself focused with this mindset over the long term?
That's a really good question. I've been doing this for over 30 years, running marathons and ultra marathons. And, I've got hundreds, if not thousands, of trophies and medals and so forth for crossing the finish line. But I'll tell you, I never focus on the finish line. I focus on the journey. So even when I'm running a race, I'm not thinking about when am I going to get to the finish line. I'm embracing the journey and enjoying the journey. So I kind of shift my paradigm to it's not the finish that matters. It's enjoying the journey that you're on at the present moment of time.
Absolutely, Dean. Doing things over the long term means that you got to be prepared for challenges and obstacles and plans not going the way you originally thought. Can you share with us either a specific instance or more where you can think about a challenge that came your way and what did you do to overcome it?
Yeah, I think I've got a good example for you. One time I ran 50 marathons in all of the 50 U.S. states in 50 consecutive days. And I remember marathon 19 was in Phoenix, Arizona, and it was very hot. And I got to the turnaround point at the half marathon, and I thought, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to finish this race, let alone how am I going to run 31 more marathons in 31 days after this. So I said to myself, don't think about anything except the present moment of time. Don't think about getting to the finish of this race. Don't think about the next marathon tomorrow morning. Just think about taking your next footstep to the best of your ability. And I kept doing that over and over again, just being in the present moment of time, the here and now. And I reached the finish line of marathon 19. And then on marathon 20, when I got up in the morning, I said to myself, the outcome is uncertain. You're not sure you're going to make it. But today you're going to be the best that you can be. You're going to be the best Dean that Dean can be. And I woke up every day for 30 more days with that same mindset. Today I'm going to give it my all. Success or failure, it doesn't matter. I'm going to try my best. And if you have that sort of mindset, there's no way you can fail.
What you're really telling us is you really embraced the challenge. You did not let the challenge come in the way of your mission or what you were trying to achieve. You really embraced the challenge and ran with it.
Yeah, I have a saying, embrace the suck. So, when things get tough, celebrate it. When you run a marathon, there's going to be points where it really hurts. And when that happens, I say to myself, this is miserable. I love it. Can it get worse than this? So really embracing the low points and just saying, here's another challenge. Is this the lowest you've ever been? And can you still get through this one? So I say embrace the suck. And that goes for business or running.
That story is so inspirational. And what you're leading us here is the fact that seldom these long-term plans go the way you decided they would at the beginning of the session or your marathon. Same with business. And sometimes in life, you have to think about, solving problems with innovative thinking. Have there been times where you've had to think out of the box while in a race?
Yeah, one time I ran across Death Valley in the middle of summer. So the race is called the Badwater Ultramarathon. It's a 135-mile nonstop race across the hottest place on earth. And I remember running on the asphalt, and it was, the temperature outside was over 120 degrees. The asphalt was over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and the soles of my shoes literally melted off. So I thought, oh, this is not good. What do you do here? And I changed into a fresh pair of shoes, and I decided to run on the white line because I figured the white would deflect the sun, the rays of the sun, more than the black. And the white line was cooler, so I ran literally throughout the heat of the day on the white line on the side of the highway so that I could not have my shoes melt again.
This is truly fascinating for me to think about. You're running a marathon, it's a very long race. There are constantly changing conditions, weather conditions, and other things. Adaptability is a key trait for winners in sports, winners in business. How have you trained yourself with this mindset of adaptability to do the best of what you can do in running marathons?
Yeah, I think having the mindset of I've never won, but competing like I've never lost. So in your training, constantly looking for new approaches, keeping an open mind, trying new things, experimenting, seeing what works in your training, and then testing that during the racing. And I think this continuous improvement, this continuous learning, this Six Sigma sort of idea works really well for an athlete and really well in business. So always learning. Look at things through the eyes of a child, curious eyes. How do I get better? How do I improve? How do I compete against these big guys? That sort of thing.
Dean, you just brought up the topic of competitors. But having achieved the success like you have, or running companies like we do at Uniphore, sometimes we all become our biggest competitors. How do you manage competing against yourself?
I always tell people that the toughest competitor you ever face is the person you meet in the mirror every morning. It's you. So I have high expectations for myself. I set the bar high, and I try to live up to those standards. And I do that by everything I do, I approach through trying to be the best animal I can be. So it's not just one thing I do to optimize my performance. It's my training, it's my cross training, it's my diet, it's my sleep, it's my interpersonal relationships. So everything I do, I focus on optimizing for me to be the best that I can be. And I think that's really helped me with the confidence to know that when I'm standing at the starting line, there are other competitors, and I am competitive against other people, but I can live up to my own standards, and I think that's the most important because, at the end of the day, it's you versus you, and I always want to beat myself.
When I was a kid, for me, running a race was all about running as fast as I could to win. But marathons are different. Marathons are about balancing speed, which is truly important to win the race. At the end of the day, it's a race, but also about managing yourself and not burning out and enduring that energy. How do you find the balance between speed as well as keeping yourself fit to achieve the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to my body a lot, and I try not to force things. So we all have ebbs and flows in our energy, and on good days, I try harder. On bad days, I accept that okay, it's not your day, but still be the best that you can be. So I think this idea of always challenging yourself and always living up to your own standards and doing everything in your power in every action you take that reinforces those standards is a really great mindset for whatever you're doing, but especially for athletics.
Dean, you're really being humble here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'd love to ask you some questions if I could, because I'm curious. Why did you want to interview me of all possible people you could interview?
For the achievements you've achieved, for the inspiration you provided all of us, not just here in the US, but around the world, the number of marathons you're an ultramarathoner, etc., and how you've overcome obstacles in achieving what you've achieved. It's an honor to be talking to you today. But overall, I see a lot of commonalities in everything we discussed today together, but also how you built your track record and your success story and how we are building Uniphore over the last 16 years. We've been at this with a mission of building a company for ages. And we hope we're building something over the next few decades which is still very relevant and impactful to the world. You spoke about thinking through obstacles and creating a mindset of doing something that you can do to get better just today without worrying about the long-term obstacles. You spoke about competing against yourself. So a lot of all that is ingrained in how we're building Uniphore, which is something that we want to imbibe the long-term mindset and yet recognize that we are in this race. We're in this race of building a company that's out to change the world with our artificial intelligence technology.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like a lot of the things that I explained, we share a lot of commonalities between what I do and what you do, even though they're very different businesses. You've been at it for 16 years, as you said, and you've built a dedicated, committed team. Every year is a new race for you, though I realize that. And what do you look forward to in 2024? I mean, what are your goals for this year? I'm curious, and how are you going to get there?
You're so right, Dean. For us, every 12 months, every financial year is a whole new marathon. As we close out a fiscal year, we look back and talk about the goals that we had set for ourselves and how did we do against them. And then at the start of every fiscal year, we have a whole new set of goals. So in these 12 months, it's like a sprinting marathon all over again. In 2024, in the next 12 months, what I'm most excited about is that, when we started the company 16 years ago, AI and some of the technologies that we were developing, it was pretty lonely. We were a rare few group of people in the world who were talking about that for a long period of time. Now the world is ready for AI. In fact, I call this year the year of AI, where businesses and consumers have moved beyond the hype cycle of learning what this technology is about, and now people expect it to do real things for them. And this is what we at Uniphore have been priming ourselves for. We work with thousands of our customers who expect Uniphore not only to show up with the latest innovation, with the latest proof of concept, that's the sprint part of our business. But the long-term endurance part of our business is that our customers expect us to deliver real business value with AI, efficiency gains, increase in profitability, etc. And the era that we're truly embarking on in the world as a society, etc., I call it that we are entering the age of abundance. With AI beginning to deliver real value, here's the potential, the opportunity for all of us to have more time at our hands, to pursue passions, time for our families and our loved ones, because AI is beginning to take over repetitive tasks, make us more efficient, make businesses more efficient, and give more time back to each one of us individually. And so the next 12 months is us beginning to enter this age of abundance.
I look forward to that day. I mean, I can spend more time training and running.
Dean, as we start to conclude this conversation, there are a few set of learnings that I'm taking away from talking to you today. When you want to get yourself in a long-term mindset, that of a marathoner or somebody who's building a business for the ages, there are a few things which are really important to keep in mind. The first, your biggest competitor is the person you see in the mirror the next morning you wake up. Next, you can't let challenges come in the way of your biggest mission. And finally, the takeaway that you have to be adaptable and you have to think outside the box even during the race. So if I sum it all up, for me, this represents that you truly have to get into the mindset of you're in a club of one. And that's how you win in the long term. Dean, this has been a great conversation. Do you have any closing remarks for me and my team here?
It's been a real pleasure talking with you, and I'm glad some of the things I talked about resonated well with the challenges you're facing. So I encourage you and your whole team to embrace the suck, and I wish you strength and endurance for the long run. Good luck to you, and thank you for everything you're doing to build a better world.
Dean, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your invaluable insights and experiences in the realm of endurance running. Your approach to pushing through physical and mental boundaries is not only inspiring, but also incredibly relevant as we step into our new fiscal year. In business, Just as in endurance sport, the ability to preserve, adapt to changing conditions, and maintaining a long-term vision, it's crucial. In the era of AI, and with our business here at Uniphore, this is true now more than ever. The strategies and mindset you discussed today provide a strong foundation for resilience and sustained performance. We truly appreciate your time and look forward to applying these lessons to achieve our goals in the coming year. Dean, thank you.